This content is brought to you by Huawei.
We're 11 co-founders, so
11
not everybody.
co-founders.
Yeah.
Equally share? Everybody has the same amount?
Not equally, but...
more or less?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, that's a lot of people. It's bigger than my cap table.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. So I think everybody can have there are different opinions on what the future of the company can be, but for me the most important is motivation within the team, and also this mentality where we try to do it our way. So I wish we can grow while still finding a way to have this authentic, only motivated people.
In our upcoming episode, join me in a conversation with Gabriela, the founder of Resilio. She's one of 11 co-founders of this company. Resilio helps organizations achieve sustainable IT transitions through their innovative platform. They assess digital footprints, reduce costs, and provide consulting and training services. Produced by Video House and sponsored by Huawei, this episode explores Resilio's journey in reshaping IT transitions. Together, let's unlock the hidden treasures of exploration and discovery. Enjoy the podcast.
Gabriela, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate for you taking the time to give us a little bit of insights about your company, your startup, and just discuss with me everything that is going on in front and behind the scenes. So I'm very excited about that. I think it's a huge topic that your guys are trying to tackle with environment, sustainability. So let's get started at the very beginning. How did you get inspired to start your own company?
So at the start of Resilio, it was a student association from EPFL.
Yes.
So the
university or?
Yeah, the University Polytechnical School in Lausanne. And it was students that were concerned about sustainability topics and joined an association called Zero Emission Group. Mm-hmm. And basically our group, we had a subgroup about the environmental impact of digital activities. And we decided together to create something, associating ourselves with experts on the topic that we met along the way of our journey, mm-hmm. basically.
So when was that? When did you finish university?
Personally, I finished 1 year ago,
yeah.
But there are still some students. We joined the association, all of us, maybe 3 years ago. And we created the startup 1.5 years ago, officially.
Okay, wow, that's great. I mean, so you just you finished EPFL and then immediately started your own company.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, when it was created, I was finishing my master thesis, but the CEO is still
a student.
Yeah, still a student.
That's good. That's amazing. I love these stories. So tell me a little bit about yourself. What drives you every day to do this company?
Yeah, sure. So I come also from an engineering background. So yeah. I did EPFL in microengineering, so a bit different from the topic we're right now. So I was I specialized myself in nanotechnology and neuroprosthetics. And at the end of my studies, I was okay, I have either the choice to be in the medical field, or I'm also very passionate about sustainability. Mm-hmm. And I was okay, I think there are a lot of the medical path is not as urgent as the sustainability one.
Yes.
And there are more people doing research on the medical field. So there was this opportunity, and I decided to take it to create the company.
Tell me, you mentioned urgency already many times. What do you feel is that urgent?
Well, I mean, I think we can all see that it's going quite fast, the climate change, and so we talk a lot about the climate, but we don't talk about other issues and other type of pollutions, especially in the digital space. There are a lot of problems around the materials and the metals, the minerals and metals used to build all of our devices, and it creates geopolitical tensions. It creates a lot of there really a risk of shortage actually, and people don't really talk about it. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's for climate reason, but also all the other types of pollution, like pollution of the ground, of the air, and etc. It's
So tell me what does Resilio do? So if someone has no idea,
maybe I can start with that.
Yes, like tell us a little bit. Now I understood a little bit of like, you know, the why. I understood a little bit of the urgency that you feel, but like what's the target of your company? What problem are you trying to solve?
We created a software that evaluates the environmental footprint of digital products or services. So most of the time we will evaluate environmental footprint of information system, but we can also do like also very precise product. Like recently we did the life cycle assessment. So it's the methodology, the environmental methodology we use of a robot for EPFL, for example. So once we evaluate the footprint, we advise company on how to reduce their emissions. So not only on carbon, but also on the other environmental indicators, as I told you before. And we also do trainings. So we train the teams within companies, and we do awareness of all of the employees. So we can have like a sustainable action in the company.
So if I understood correctly, like if I have my own company, I would like subscribe to your software, and then I will see what is my footprint for all my digital products that I'm using, and then how can I offset this somehow?
Exactly.
Or what can I do to make it better or more green?
Exactly.
Are you also dealing with like all of these certificates? I know that's very trendy right now that like companies can trade or sell their certificates.
No,
like
so we
CO2
don't deal with
emission.
that. We don't deal with that, but we can advise on that. But yeah, it's basically the companies will say, okay, I have 3,000 computers of this type. I have this many servers in my data center that is located in this country. And then we can calculate the footprint and see where which domain has the most impact in the information system, and advice on how to reduce their emissions.
Tell me, for me, what's always interesting to see, what is your North Star? So if everything goes exactly to you, how you envisioned it, and now we are 10 years down the line, what would you like your company to look like? What do you envision? How big can this get?
So for me, we already started doing that, but personally, I would like, so we're kind of trying to have a place of expert in the field. So we do very precise analysis using this life cycle assessment methodology, which is a methodology that assesses like not only the carbon, but also all the other environmental indicator. It's quite different from the GHG protocol that only measures like carbon footprint. So we're very precise. We go more in depth, which is a bit more expensive. But for me, my goal is to do like the most scientific methods to assess this, because it's how do you say, you can see a bit of everything in environmental assessment. So we really try to do like the most precise we can. And my goal is what I envision is to work maybe with like government institution. Do you say that?
Yeah, it's a government.
Like we already started doing that for France. And I really like I think we have a lot of impact working on like creation of standards. That's what we're like starting to do in France. So that's really passionate, I think.
I understand, but let me try to rephrase my question. You can totally like make up everything in your mind that you want. And now we're 10 years down the line. Do you want your company to have 100 employees, or you want the company to, you know, make $1 billion in revenue every year? What do you want to happen? Or you want to have like a social impact? I don't know. Maybe you want to have like just a certain amount of people on your software. What is your dream case scenario? Like you're saying like, okay, you want to raise $100 million, and then, you know, you can do whatever you want. Tell me, what is the ultimate goal of your company?
So I think like we're 11 co-founders, so not
11
everybody
co-founders. Equally share, everybody has the same amount?
Not equally, but
more or less.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, that's a lot of people. It's bigger than my cap table.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. So I think everybody can have there are different opinions on what the future of the company can be, but for me the most important is whether we're 100, 1,000, or we stay at 25 as we are now. It would be to keep the same motivation in the team. We have everybody's quite passionate also because it comes from a student association. Yes. So people were in the beginning were here for the impact that it could have, and not the startup journey and the money and things like this. So I really wish to keep this motivation within the team, and also this mentality where we try to do it our way. So we are searching a bit about different governance governance method to lead the company, and I really find it super interesting. So I wish we can grow while still finding a way to have this authentic, only motivated people, and with our touch, our different governance. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's
kind of where we want to be. Tell me, who are your ideal clients now? You mentioned governments before. Mm-hmm. So who would you like to have as your clients?
So what we have now, or what we want?
Both.
So now we work a lot. So we work with all sorts of different companies. We work with huge company LVMH, or groups like L'Occitane. We also work with smaller institution, more in the Canton de Vaud environment, so cities, schools, universities. So I think that's nice to have a bit of both. And now we're starting to work with ADEME, which is the Agency of Ecological Transition in France. Mm-hmm. And so we're developing more and more this aspect of governmental institution. Mm-hmm. And yeah, for me personally, I really like also this path. So if we can develop a bit more and about governmental institution.
Tell me, where do you stand in terms of fundraising? Who gave you the money to get this started?
So we didn't do fundraising.
Yeah.
Since we were 11 co-founders. This allowed us to create the company. And this also gives us the liberty to create the vision that we want, and there are no external output. And for now, it's going good. So we're not totally against fundraising, but for now we didn't need it, so we keep it this way.
So you have everybody contributed financially to the company, or you're just...
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. But it's a lot of people, 11 people. How do you handle this, so many people?
I think there is some there can be some tension because of the difference of vision, but globally I think since we have a bigger goal than ourselves, it's easier maybe.
But no one wanted to leave, or no one wanted to say no, it's not for him or for her?
No, for now.
So for now, you're all...
For now, we also in the contract when we created the company, everybody had to stay involved for 3 years at least. So we also prepared it quite well, and we're not 11 students from the co-founders, so there are 8 students. We added two founders also along the way. Mm-hmm. that were here almost from the beginning, and we have also 3 seniors profiles. Okay. So we have a guy, no, how do you say? Yeah, a guy called Frédéric Bordage, who is who is working on the impact of digital activities since 20 years in France, and he joined with also 2 associates of him, who were part of a GreenIT association in France. So we have a good mix of different profiles.
Tell me, how do you make decisions? Like, I'm just baffled by 11 co-founders. Like, do you vote, or how do you do this?
Yeah, so we have different poles, like we call these circles. Each one can be in charge of a different section of the company. Like, I'm in charge of the software. And then in my circle, so everybody kind of trusts me to do my decisions, but I'm explaining the decision process. Everybody kind of trusts me to do my decisions, and if I make a decision, I'll announce it to the team, and people can oppose themselves to the decision, and then we'll like talk and work it out. But that's basically how we do.
So every decision you take in, let's say, in the circle of software, everybody else can basically veto and say like, hey, like, no, I think you should do something differently.
Yeah, but it's like a construction, and I don't make decision alone. I do decision with my team, basically.
So you first understand like what everybody's point of view is, and then you show like, this is how I decide.
Yeah, so decision process is like first within a team, and then it's exposed to the like different circles of the company, and then it's not like everybody must agree. It's more like if you don't agree, you say it. Kind of.
Yeah, I understand.
That's how we do.
Talk to me a little bit about competition. I think it's definitely not the only one. I think that, as I mentioned before, there's also companies that trade with like these certificates of CO2 emission. Tell me first of all, like what other things exist in the market, and then obviously the follow-up will be like how to differentiate yourself.
So a lot of solutions only do carbon evaluation, like I told you before. So we first started by dissociating ourselves by doing this life cycle assessment methodology, which is like very complete. But now more and more people there are more softwares that are existing, and it's definitely, we can definitely feel a bit more pressure than in the beginning, because in the beginning we were almost alone on what we were doing. Now we have to differentiate, but we're trying to keep up and keep advanced by, we have a research and development pool. And so we're trying to develop new product. We're actually launching a new product in September to try to keep one step ahead the competitors. Okay.
And tell me what is their product?
So a lot of them will be like carbon assessment. It's not, our competitors are not like trade of carbon. This is not really our direct competitors. It's more companies that evaluate a footprint of digital activities, and most of them do carbon. We have also consulting firms. We have it's like, I would say this is our main competitors, like software that do carbon assessment.
I understand. And tell me, how would you measure success for you? Are you measuring like the overall global impact, or can you tell like, look, our company created so many jobs and reduced so much CO2, or what is like kind of like your matrix that you say like, yes, actually we have the impact, the sustainable impact that you're looking for?
A lot of people like maybe are like, oh, why do you work with huge polluting multinational groups? From my point of view, if you want to have the most impact, it's also where you can get the most impact, like by helping the most polluting companies. So having big clients, also we know that we can have an impact that is bigger. And we also like, I also really like all the trainings that we do in company, because it's how you can have a sustainable change. Because the idea is not to they buy a mission and then we leave and it starts like from point zero. Like we really want to like educate people on the subject, and so they can like really build a strategy and be autonomous when we leave. Like that's the end goal. So for me, success is like, I guess when company can really take a value from what we have learned, taught them, and also like success is like, I think the like the well-being of everybody in the team also is really important. So I think this is something maybe I'm really proud, is that I think everybody really likes what they're doing, and we give a lot of like autonomy and responsibility to everyone. So for me, this is also like a successful.
Just to enjoy the time at work, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And also we have to like, it's also, I think it's really important when you start a company and you cannot like maybe pay people as much as like bigger companies, and you have to differentiate and be attractive in another way. And like if people stay, they could be paid more in like in other big companies. So I think it's that they really enjoy it, and like this like working for a purpose and this different kind of governance that we propose.
Interesting. So tell me, what do you enjoy most about the company right now, if you're saying this is such a high value in your company?
About the team, or about like in general?
Generally, why are you not leaving?
why am I Well, it's basically a bit what I told you before. Like, I really enjoy like going to work, and like just finding our way to do it slowly and gradually. Like, we evolved so much, and I really love like looking backward and seeing how we slowly like build the team, build our values, and like build also our clients. And this gives us like, yes, there is the team, but without like stuff to do, there wouldn't be purpose.
The actual work. Very cool. So let's go a little bit more into kind of like where you are in this personally, So talk to me first about, like you finished your university career a year ago. I guess it's more or less your first work experience. How would you describe your role at the moment, on a personal level? What would you say like you do on a day-to-day basis?
So I have two main activities. The first one is, like I told you, I'm so in charge, like I'm product owner of the software that we're developing. So my day-to-day task is like basically, so I build the roadmap for the product. Like, okay, what are the new functionalities we need? What are the like, when do we need to implement them? And this is quite cool because you have to kind of talk to every different poles in the company. So I need to know what the commercial needs to sell the product. I need to know what the consultant needs to like use the product. And I also like, and then I translate it to the programmers, like the software developers that are working, and I kind of also manage the team. So this is a big part of what I do. And another part is I do a bit of consulting, and this helps me to like know how consultant uses the product and how clients also uses the product. So I can see both, and this really helps me to have a global view on the software.
Tell me, I mean, you probably don't have much to compare to, but let's say compare to your time at the university. How stressful do you think your job is at the moment, let's say on a scale from 1 to 10?
Like, it really depends on the moment. I would say maybe the last month it was 7. In general, maybe like average 5. But I think it's more stressful because I'm really involved and I really like what I'm doing. There are a lot of okay, we want to make our clients happy.
Yeah.
There are also some human problematics to handle when you're in charge of a team, and so this can be sometimes a bit stressful, but yeah, I know for me it's worth it.
But tell me, I want to dig into this a little bit about care and stress. So you're saying, I'm just trying to rephrase what you're saying. Sure. So if you care about something, then by default you will be more stressed about it than if you don't care about something.
Yeah, of course.
So if I'm stressed, that means I care?
like imagine you're in a company and you make a mistake and people are not happy and it makes you feel nothing.
Yeah, but I care about my family. That doesn't mean I'm stressed about it.
Yeah, but you're stressed if something goes wrong.
If something goes wrong, I'm stressed. That's an interesting question. I don't know. Am I stressed when something goes wrong? I mean, I think it depends. I mean, obviously, if like there's health issues and stuff related to health, then obviously like you're more concerned. But I'm not sure if stress is the right answer to care. I mean, I'm asking. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I know like I can be stressed because my day is full. I never see my day, like I never watched a minute. Like I did an internship before and I was like super bored and like watching the minute and then I wasn't stressed at all. Whereas now, like I don't see my day go by, and like it is also because I'm so like in my head and having to deal with.
Basically, as I said, like I don't know if I agree or disagree with stress and care being correlated. I think it's an interesting thought. I've never thought about it, so I'll have to think about it a bit more, and I'll get back to you eventually if I have a clear opinion about
Sure.
this. Talk to me a little bit more about like personal growth. I mean, like, you know, during university time, you probably like have like a very steep curve of learning, and then at some point when you are deep in the workforce, then like, you know, it's getting a little bit harder. But what are you getting inspired by on a day-to-day basis?
So
Please say Greta. Or
no, I think that when I joined when I finished my studies and started working for the company, like the mentality was, okay, we throw you in the water and let's see if you can swim kind of situation. So it was really like, I don't really use what I learned during my studies as an engineer, like some part of it, but it was mostly like the learning process and a bit of like software knowledge. But I really get like motivated by like learning all the time new things and new, like we try to get information from different, like get advice from different people to like trying to find our way. We do make mistakes,
Sure.
obviously, but at least we do the best we can. And
is there some favorite book or a podcast or some kind of like blog that you're reading on a regular basis? You would say like, hey, look, this is where you get your inspiration from?
For me, my inspiration comes from the people I'm the most surrounded. It's not really like I don't have like a book. Obviously, there are like books or podcasts, but I'll mainly get like, I know everybody I met from EPFL learned me a different thing. And in the company, it's kind of the same. We have very different profiles. And I really like love pick and choose like what I love about someone and grow from that.
Sure. So tell me, what do you do outside of the company? Someone wants to get to know you a little bit better. Tell me, is there anything, do you have life outside of the company?
Yeah, of course.
So what do you do? Tell me.
Okay, I quite like our outdoors activities. So we're very lucky in Switzerland. We have beautiful mountains. So I do love hiking, and I have a group of friends.
Where do you go?
I do most in like Canton de Vaud, but I think my favorite places are like above Montreux and Vevey.
Okay.
I think they're like really nice hike there. And then I really enjoy yoga as a sport. So I do quite a bit of yoga. I do, how do you say, like pottery? Do you say that?
Yeah.
So like relaxing activities to balance that.
Yes.
And I do like enjoy, going out with friends.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very good. So maybe last like question, like what I always like to know is like, do you have like some kind of like, you know, person that you look up to and say like, hey, like this is the person I want to become one day, or like someone that really inspires you?
Honestly, no. No.
Ah.
Like I have never, like I said before, I really like, I don't know, there are some things I admire, I don't know, about my dad, my mom, like people like some of my friends, also people in the company, like, but I really think that, I don't know, we need a bit of like, the company is working because we have very different profiles in it, you know, so I don't know, I just pick and choose from there's no like one.
So you like to have like
one.
you take different people for different qualities and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
try to mix your own little juice of inspiration.
Yeah, it's like I admire people for different reasons, and yeah, basically.
Very good. And like one last question, do you have any like, if you look at yourself, starting this company right after university, would you say like any advice you can give to future entrepreneurs who are now thinking, should I go into either investment banking, strategy consulting, or do my own company? What would you tell them?
I think you learn so much by doing your own company, like whether if it fails, where like the experience, like if you have the opportunity to do it, because it's also like, it's not that easy. Like it's people with an idea at the right time, having the right, like it's a whole process. So, but if everything is aligned, then definitely go for it, because you're going to learn so much. And I see my friends doing like working in bigger companies, like you get a very different experience, but you won't like multitask as much and like be in charge like of responsibilities very soon. Like I think this is I get to be very autonomous and responsible. So I really learned a lot from that.
Good. Gabriela, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. And I wish you much success to you and your other 10 co-founders. It's really special. I've never heard anything like this. I just read a study today that most of them have between 2 and 3. So 11 is off the record. So thank you so much for being here today. And I wish you much success to you and your team.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.